if you've been trying to get abs like these, but you're using exercises like these, probably wasting your time. Exercises like planks, side planks, and dead bugs are great for building stability, but they do almost nothing for actually improving the look of your abs. So in this video, I'm going to show you the only two kinds of exercises you actually need if you want to get results that show when you train your abs. Now, before you jump to the comments to yell at me, let me be clear, no matter what you do, if you don't get your body fat levels low enough, you won't see your abs no matter what exercises you do. You have to work just as hard in the kitchen as you do in the gym if you want a six-pack, all right? Good? Good. All right, let's get back to the subject. First, it's important to understand the difference between training your abs and training your core. When you train your core, movements like planks and side planks are super valuable for teaching you what it feels like to hold your spine in a stable position for when you're doing exercises like squats, deadlifts, and overhead presses. But isometric exercises like that do almost nothing for actually developing the abdominal muscles in a way that you can see visually. So, the abdominal muscles, or the rectus abdominis, are used to flex the spine forward, like what happens when you do a crunch. And the rectus abdominis connects the rib cage to the pelvis. So the rectus abdominis is really just one muscle. So there really is no such thing as the upper abs and the lower abs. But they can potentially shorten from either the rib cage or the pelvis, so you might feel certain exercises higher or lower depending on which direction your body's moving from. Let's talk about the idea of the six-pack. The separation in your abs comes from the linea alba, which is a band of connective tissue that separates your abs into those different segments from top to bottom. And the shape of that's completely genetics. You can't change how many visible structures you have. So some people will have a 4-pack, some people will have a 5-pack, some people will have the conventional 6-pack, and if you're extremely genetically blessed like my client Mitch here, you have 8. And everyone hates you, Mitch. Anyway, back on topic. So how do we train the abs to make them look better? Let's look at the two kinds of exercises that you should be using. I'm going to show you a common mistake that everyone makes with these exercises, and I'm going to show you how to correct it really, really quickly. So first, we need to pick an exercise that brings the rib cage to the pelvis, like in some kind of a crunch. My personal favorite for this is the kneeling cable crunch. All right, you can see this here. Now, this is not the way to do it. The major mistake almost everyone makes with their ab training is moving too much with their hips and not enough with their spine. You can see that here. The spine almost never moves, and you can see sitting back on your heels like this just moves your hip flexors. Doesn't actually shorten the abs in the way that we want to see it. So instead, you want to focus on moving just to the spine, extending into a stretch position before pulling the rib cage back toward the pelvis. You can see the spine here rounds a ton, and the hips have an angle that's pretty close to 90 degrees, so they're barely moving. Second, we need an exercise that brings the pelvis toward the rib cage, like you see here. My preference for this is using the lying leg raise at either a flat angle or an inclined angle to make it a little bit harder. Again, you can see here that not all of the movement is happening at the hips and almost no change in shape at the spine, so this is not good. Now here, you can see I'm getting almost completely balled up with my knees coming towards my elbows. The spine is rounded and the hips are moving very little, so the abs are doing basically all the work. Also, and here's a little trick to make the leg raise even better. Take a foam roller and hold it between your ankles and your hamstrings. The hip flexors and the hamstrings are what are called antagonistic muscles, so you can't use them both effectively at the same time. So by using your hamstrings to hold that foam roller in place, your hips can't help out as much, so your abs do almost all of the work. So be aware, this is going to make it much, much harder if you add the foam roller versus not adding it. As you can see, you don't need an incredibly complicated workout to build the potential for a six-pack. All you need are a couple of well-executed exercises that train the abdominal muscles through their full range of motion and train from both directions. So, swap your regular ab training routine out for just a couple of sets of these 2 exercises. Do it 2 or 3 times a week. See what a difference it makes. As always, if this was helpful to you, like the video, drop a comment below. And so you don't miss more videos just like this one, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.